Go ahead.
We have Attorney Darrell K.
Hi.
Washington, a very important issue concerning some police accountability, transparency, and maybe a taste of brutality. I don't know, but we want to hear straight from Opelousas native and
Yes.
Dallas practice Attorney Darrell K. Washington. Welcome, brother, to the open line.
Hi.
Thank you, Brother Jay. I appreciate it.
How you
Glad to be
doing?
here.
How you doing, Mr. Washington?
That's Sister
I
Khadijah on
am,
the line.
yes, Sister Khadijah, I'm doing great. It is so very good to talk to you again as well.
Yes. Okay.
So, Attorney Washington, you know what rang my bell with all the stuff going on with law enforcement, and when I started seeing these things pop up in the local news cycle about LPD, Lafayette PD, no disrespect to anyone who's member of law enforcement, but those what you call elephant in the room situation keep popping up, and these are serious situations. You know, for instance, the case you on with the case of someone being wrongly identified. You want to fill us in on that? Whatever you could talk about on that particular case.
Yes, actually, on that particular case, I represent the Kristoff family, and as you know, man, that could have been a situation that could have really turned into to be deadly. I commend my clients in the manner in which they handled this case. But I will tell you, man, it's had traumatic impacts on that family, because they know that, you know, they were just perhaps seconds away from being killed, because we've seen that narrative played out around the country. And, you know, typically police officers get away with that, especially when there's any type of video footage. And you say something, Brother Jay, I mean, before I continue talking, because what happens oftentimes when we talk about these cases, people believe that we just put in all police officers in one category, and we're not. Because I've said it over and over, a great majority of police officers are good people. They are good officers. It's just the bad ones that are being protected that makes it bad for everyone. And what I've seen through my initial investigation is that there's a serious problem in Lafayette, Louisiana. This has been going on for quite some time now. What happens is people are so discouraged by the process that you have a lot of people who just take it and generally don't file complaints on it. But we plan on coming down with this particular case and being able to show the issues that have been going on far too long in this city.
You seem to think there's, in your opinion, there's a pattern of lack of transparency when you have these very serious cases. We got the case of the baby girl in a police action, and that's been prominent in the news. And we got other cases we glossed over and watched where they're not forthcoming and letting the public know. I know when you have something pending, you know all the legal ins and outs. You can't talk about certain things, but having body cam footage available to prove whether something is right or wrong, that's, you know, it's like people are complaining about that. They're calling our radio show and asking us about that. I don't know if you care to touch on that too.
Yeah, I mean, and just to talk about the baby girl who was killed, you know, I just heard about that case just recently, and it is just such a tragic situation. And, you know, what's so bad about that case, Brother Jay, is that they are trying to put the blame on that kid's death. They are trying to put the blame on Mrs. Prejean's injury on the individual who was inside the house. But when I talk to people, when I talk to witnesses, the things that I'm hearing is that the police officers actually fired their guns first. And that's what resulted in the injuries to Ms. Prejean. That's what resulted in the injuries to this little girl. And so, but what we see happen is they changed that narrative, and they put all the blame and all the charges on the individual who fired his gun back in defense. They put it on him. So what it does is it's in a sense, it's deflection, because people don't look at how serious of a situation it really is. What Lafayette Police Department should have done, first of all, you have to know who's in that house. you have to know whether there are children in that house, whether there are women in that house before you even get involved in that type of situation. Because generally, if you don't, what happens is innocent people are seriously injured or killed. And that's what happened in this case right here. This little girl should not be dead. Her siblings should not be injured. And when you hear about these cases, it just really hurts, really, really bad. Now, it's just sad that, you know, that is continuing to go on.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go a little further now. And again, no offense to the audience out there. The issue with this last big case in my home parish of Iberia, with that police action having to be a part of the Lafayette PD having to be a part of the action on the SWAT, or whatever happens in the house, even the transparency on that, and it's easy for the mainstream media, and that's just an opinion, to get caught up and put it out there like that, and it's like a deflection. So I don't know if that's purposely done by the union or the PR people at Lafayette PD, but that's not a good look when the other stories coming out that it might have been a friendly fire. That's now I'm on recanting something that's in the mainstream media news, and I take offense when it's something like that, because you putting the action on something else, but it's really something else. So I don't know if you have an opinion on that one also.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, what they did with that last incident, I just happen to know the family. I know the mother very well.
Right.
All right. What they did with that case is, when I initially heard from it, I'm just telling you from my perspective, being here in Dallas, I figured that it was someone other than the police officer who took Officer Jolivet's life.
Right.
And that was the narrative that they really wanted to be out there, that these officers were in the line of duty, and there was another person who took Officer Jolivet's life. All right. But when they went on, and when that investigation continued, we learned that that was not the case. So why were they so fast to put that narrative out there? They should have waited before they put that narrative. But they realized, Brother Jay, that people weren't going to just let this just go this way. People were going to have questions. They're like, that just doesn't seem right. That he was killed in that particular manner. And when you look into it more and more, we learn that they call it friendly fire. All right, that's what they want to call it. But we know that it's just the result of poor training. It's the result of having individuals with badges on who should not be police officers. It's the result of poor leadership. And Officer Jolivet should not be dead today. I mean, as much as he's a hero and he deserves to be a hero, he should be here with his wife and children.
And I visited other police websites, right, to do the research before I, post on social media, before I come on this wonderful radio platform and talk. I did my research, and every other police agency or organization out there has that young man who they accuse. Right now, he's just an accused. Have been charged with a few other things. They got him as the killer everywhere you go. So that right there is another insult to the community as far as transparency. Correct.
And that's what happens. Generally, they're going to blame him for the murder. I can assure you that. Just like with the situation with the young girl who was killed, they're going to blame the guy who was inside for the murder of that kid. When in essence, it was Lafayette police officers who took that child's life.
That's right.
And, that's the narrative that needs to be in the community. Look, Brother Jay, I say it all the time. What happened to Sandra Massey, right?
Right.
That was a very, very bad situation. And every city throughout the country did something in her honor.
Yes.
And rightfully so. But we have things that are happening in Lafayette that are just as bad, that are just as egregious, that people aren't saying anything about. There's no way that people should not be asking more questions about why was this little girl killed. We shouldn't just accept the narrative that the person inside of the house was responsible for it. It was police officers who was responsible for that death. So what are you telling me? That they are able to kill a kid, injured
That's right.
a lady in the house, injure their siblings, and we're going to just blame it on the person inside? Police officers can just get away with it? No, that's totally unacceptable. That should not be happening. And it makes no sense that something that egregious happened in Lafayette, Louisiana, and we just really hearing about it right now, a year later.
Well, there's a lot of egregious things that have happened in Lafayette, New Iberia, St. Martinville, and a lot of people, when they find out about it, they just don't believe it. I remember I had contacted you a while back, and then you had, on the murder of my grandson, Raymond Barnett Shaheed Jr. And we found, and well, when I say we, you found out that also that because he had children by somebody else, that the mother and the father do not have any rights whatsoever. Victor White Jr., Victor White Sr., Victor White Jr. was killed by New Iberia police officer, and one of the killers' name was Ortiz, O-R-T-I-Z. And come to find out, the mother of his daughter, of his alleged daughter.
You talking about the young man?
The young man.
Victor.
Yeah, Victor White Jr. alleged daughter. The attorney, she made a money grab and went and got in touch with the child's alleged mother to tell her, well, look, he don't want to settle, but we need to settle, and the monies were given to the attorney. Got like $200 and something thousand. The little young woman got like $180 something thousand. That in itself, again, a complete travesty.
Yeah, the laws in Louisiana are just a little different. I know here in Texas, for example, parents have wrongful death claims. In Louisiana, if the deceased had a child, all right, then the mother and father have no legal rights. And I think that's horrible.
That is horrible.
That needs to change. I tell people all the time, right now, our focus is on the presidential election, rightfully so. We have to be concerned about that. But we have to be equally concerned about the elections in Louisiana. We have to be the local elections in Texas, because those are the elections that impact our daily lives. People don't realize how bad the laws are until you are faced with that particular situation. Sister Khadijah, like which, the situation with
grandson
that we dealt with
my grandson.
with your family. Yes. So people don't understand that. And those are the type of laws that we need to change.
Well, one of the other things is we discussed with the executive director of the Louisiana ACLU, Alana Odom, great sister, great fighter. We discussed about the new laws in Louisiana concerning police accountability, police issues, 25 feet within a police officer, and the other one where that qualified immunity. And before you go, I'd like to get your, and I got one other question after that. I'd like to get your take on that. Attorney Washington?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, did you get my question about the new laws on the books in Louisiana, qualified immunity, and 25 feet within a police officers, you can get arrested?
Yeah, man, Brother Jay, I will tell you, I'm not too familiar with those laws. I have to look at that.
Right.
And next time we talk, we can talk about it. But let me give you an example of something, Brother Jay.
Okay.
I have a case right now in Hammond, Louisiana, where the Hammond police officers went in. They did a no-knock raid, right?
No-knock raid.
They entered the young man's trailer. They went directly to his bedroom. He raised up to see who it was, right? And they shot him point blank in the neck. You have to look at the video. You have to believe it. Don't believe what I'm telling you, okay? Right. Believe the video. Lionel Jackson, I want you to look at it.
Okay.
And by the grace of God, he survives, all right?
Oh, Lord.
The guy who shot him, his uncle is the chief of police, Bergeron. All right, I went to Hammond, Louisiana, I uncovered the corruption that is taking place in that city. But what they did, right? Mm-hmm. They continued to harass Lionel even after he got out of the hospital, and they planted drugs. They did all sorts of things to try to clear themselves. The civil case is pending right now.
Right.
Okay.
But what they have done is they're trying to make it appear as if he's this bad guy. And when they do that, Brother Jay, and I'm telling you, and I tell people this all the time, as soon as they make the victim a bad person, then all of a sudden the public doesn't care anymore.
Right.
All right. They believe, they become of that mindset, well, if he wouldn't have been out there, he wouldn't have, this wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time, Brother Jay, and I use this as an example. I say, and it's the prostitute example, right? Right. Just because a young lady is a prostitute or a young man is a prostitute doesn't mean that they deserve to be raped. Right. All right?
Right.
You can't use that example for me. So I don't care if a person had a criminal past. It does not justify a police officer going out there and using excessive or deadly force. Mm-hmm. And as a community, we have to be able to look at it that way, because here's the thing. People don't generally care until that problem comes knocking at their door. All right. And when it comes knocking at that door, then everybody wants the support of the community. And I say all the time, the support that you want has to be the support that you give to others. And until we get into those streets, until we say enough is enough, Brother Jay, this is going to continue to happen. Mm-hmm. The city of Lafayette, all right, everybody in the surrounding area should be outraged that we have a baby girl who did not get the chance, did not have an opportunity to live a life. We should be outraged about this. We should not just be talking about this. We should be totally outraged that that baby is no longer here, and somebody should be answering to that. Somebody, if you can't answer our questions, then that person needs to be gone. But we need to know who fired those shots. Everybody, we need to know who fired those shots into that house, and we need to know the background of that person. We need to know what other incidents that officer has been involved in, because it's frustrating. Right. And it's only so many of us who are handling these cases, Brother Jay.
Right.
But,
That's right.
And it's very difficult. And one of the hardest things that we deal with, and I say that I deal with, is that I don't have the ability to help everybody. Right. All right. But these little cases that happen in Louisiana, right, in Lafayette or Opelousas or wherever, they are in New Iberia. They are as important as the cases that happen in these larger cities. Yes. And just because the media is not covering it does not mean it's not important. Right. Right. So we have to put a stop to this, because if we don't, it's just going to continue to happen. And the way you put a stop to it, Brother Jay, you don't just settle the cases, right? Right. Sister Khadijah, you have to bring them to trial. That's right. And you have to let them feel what they have done to our community. They have to truly feel, so that when another officer sees what that one officer had to go through, they're going to think second before they take the life of an innocent person. And that's what we need. And
lastly, and I know you have to go, lastly, or I think Sister Glee got, but the police union in Lafayette and the Civil Service Board has been identified. I know, talking to the community, being a talk show host, as the problem. That police union in Lafayette, the people that train these officers, they bear a lot of responsibility for the attitude and the training issues. And how hard it is to change a police union or to change a civil service board that hires and fires these people.
And again, Brother Jay, that goes into the laws that we talked about, the local laws that we need to really look into and change in. But man, you say something so powerful. The police unions. It's not just in Lafayette. It's all over the country. All right. These police unions are so very powerful. So what happens is police chiefs are scared of unions. Right. Mayors are scared of unions. Politicians are scared of unions. You know why? Because they want to get the endorsement of these unions when they're running for an office. So they generally don't go against them as much. I mean, and I say it all the time. Where are our local politicians on these issues? when they're running for office, they're at our churches, they're in our communities, they're talking to these organizations, asking for our votes, right? Then when we have these situations, they should be leading the efforts. It shouldn't be just the local activists. They should be leading these efforts because they are the voices for their constituents. And it seems like in a lot of cases, they're working against their constituents. And we're not going to have change until all our politicians come out and say, you know what, we're not going to deal with this. We're not going to have changes until all our preachers come out. They can't just come out for the ones that are safe, all right? They come out for the ones that are safe. You got to come out for the ones that are, that are questionable as well, because the community needs us. And Brother Jay, our Black community is so very important. We are so powerful. If you look at the elections, right?
Right.
Everybody in this presidential election, the most important vote is the Black vote.
Yes.
So that should tell the community how strong we are. We have the most power, but we are asking for the least amount of things from anyone.
Right.
I mean, if you want our votes, you're going to have to show us what you're going to do to change our communities. Because 4 years later, and we're still in the same situation that we're in.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Khadija, you has a...
Yes, and again, we want to thank you for continuously being the attorney that have guts. I mean, I would like to say the other word, but I don't want to get censored. And for your bravery and everything. And so you did mention that some of our laws have got to be changed in the state of Louisiana. However, Louisiana is ran by 98% of white men all the time.
That's an opinion, huh?
No, that's
Yeah,
factual.
I know it's a fact.
That's fact. Look at the sheriff department. I mean, look at the sheriffs in the state of Louisiana. Out of 60-something, we may have maybe 2 blacks. Well, it could be like 3 black, because one you can't really tell.
Yeah, the former head of the Louisiana State
Right.
Police.
And
he just got elected. He had to do a hard time to get elected in Shreveport.
That's right.
And well known too. That just shows you.
And we have this little young 11-year-old girl that's from New Iberia who was in a horrific situation where the guy, the 38-year-old man, wind up getting killed and everything, and they have her incarcerated, they have her brother incarcerated, they have the mother incarcerated, the daddy, even though the mother and the father were both in court, you know something is not right with them anyway. But I just say that to say that, if it would have been a white child, a white little girl, we wouldn't be at the level that we are. And I know for a fact that Roger Hamilton Jr. Would think twice before just letting this escalate the way it has.
Listen, Sister Khadijah and Brother Jay, we could really have this conversation forever.
Yes,
I mean, and I tell you, what's so frustrating, honestly, when I have these conversations, is that Black people have so much power. All right. We have so much power, yet we don't use our power. I even say with our athletes, right? If Landry and all these guys want to pass these racist laws and they want to do the things that they're doing in Louisiana, imagine if our Black athletes would say, we're not going to LSU. All right.
Yes.
We're not going to go there. As long as they want to do this, because they're passing those people. All right. A great majority of those people who are going to be in the stands are voting against the interests of my community. They're voting against the interests of my grandmother, my grandfather. But yet I'm going out there on Saturdays and making them millions of dollars.
Isn't that something?
We have to be able to look at that. And I know some people are going to look at it and say, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but since I was 3 years old, I wanted to play for LSU. Yeah, but I'm sorry. These people are voting against our interests.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And until they come in and say, okay, we're going to support you. We don't like the things that are going on in Louisiana. We are against qualified immunity as well, because it's causing your brother or your cousin or your good friend to lose his or her lives. you know, when they give us that support, then we can work together, Brother Jay. But we have to understand that power is in the economics. All right. And one of your greatest money makers for the state of Louisiana, starting in September, is going to be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Right. And the only way they make that money is because of us.
Yes.
It's because of us. So how are we going to allow them to hurt us with these laws, yet we continue to make millions of dollars for them? I don't understand that.
It takes education. It
confuses me.
Athletes to make them understand what state they are in first. You know, don't want to discourage them not to participate, but you know, sometimes you got to give up something. You know, I mean, with these laws, and it was said with the executive director of the ACLU that Louisiana is a dry run for Project 2025. If you hate Project 2025, well, you already living under it in the state of Louisiana.
You're already living in it, Brother Jay. And then just to show you the power that athletes have, during COVID, all right, they have been trying to take down that racist flag in the state of Mississippi for years, all right? And they have been unsuccessful. These black college athletes said, I will never play a down of football in the state of Mississippi as long as that flag is there. Guess what happened to that flag?
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. So, Brother Jay, Sister Khadijah, I always love being a part of you guys' show. Yes. I wish I could be calling in and we could be talking about other issues.
Well, we wish you had an office down here. We wish you had an office down here.
Well, he in the big city. That's a Grambling night. They travel all over the world.
No, you need to have an office down here.
Sister Khadijah, you never know. It could be in the near future.
All right. I will volunteer my time.
If you run across my nephew, Aaron Vallow, tell him send home, send money.
Hey, man, I talk to Aaron all the time, and Aaron is doing big things in the city, Brother Jay. He's making New Iberia, Louisiana very proud, man. I can tell you. He's a great product of New Iberia.
My brother's oldest son. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and if you run across my brother, Robert Goins, you tell him phone home.
Look, Sister Khadijah, I love Rob. Robin and I went to college together, and that's my brother for life. Yeah. But I will tell Rob, because Rob got a habit of not calling for some time, so I'll let him know this.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Attorney Washington, Sister Khadijah.
Well, you sure you got it? You sure you got to go?
Yeah.
I wish I didn't, Sister Khadijah. I wish I didn't, but I promise you, as I told Brother Jay.
Okay, all right. Yes, sir.
I want to come back. What I would love to do one day is I want to get in the studio with you guys.
Yes, you got to.
When I come to Lafayette with this case, because I've been speaking to Jeremy Christoph, and I will tell you, that family is absolutely amazing, Brother Jay. Yes. I mean, it's a great family, and to see what they did to his family in Lafayette, man, it just really hurt my heart. And I do know that if he didn't have the mindset to do the right thing, right?
Yes. Right.
That means just back off, because he had to watch his wife being mistreated. Oh. He had to watch his son and daughter being mistreated. Do you understand how that feels as a man?
Yes.
Knowing that you are in a position, they put you in a position where you can't take care of your family.
That's right.
But he knew, Brother Jay, if he just made just one false movement, all right, they had the guns out. They were looking for a reason to shoot him. And he knew that he had to just back off in order to be able to save his life and his family life. But Brother Jay, this family has been traumatized by this. Their lives will just never be the same. And I think the city of Lafayette and Lafayette Police Department just think that it's just okay. And it's not okay. When you have video footage of a wrong, right?
Yes.
It shouldn't take you 6 months to investigate. God. It shouldn't take you that long, because we watch football games, Brother Jay, when they have to overturn a call in front of millions of people. What they do, they review that video, and they're able to make the proper decision in front of millions of people in less than a minute. But when we come to police officers and there's stuff on video cameras and there's video footage, it takes them months. And the reason it takes them that long, Brother Jay, because they know in Louisiana, you only have 1 year to file a lawsuit, right? So they want to stretch it out as far as that investigation out as far as possible, so that you don't have the opportunity to get the information that you need. Just like the little girl who was killed. There's no video footage. There's nothing that's been produced to the family. So it makes it very difficult. But those laws need to be changed. One of the things that we're pushing for is that if there's body cam footage, it needs to be released to the family within 48 hours. And then it needs to be released to the public within 72 hours. The purpose of having video footage and body cam footage was for transparency, not for them to hide it, because we know that if there's video footage that shows the officers in a positive light, it's going to be released immediately. If it's something that shows them in a negative light, it's going to take forever. But let somebody harm a police officer, right? And I don't ever want to see that happen.
Or they dog.
You're going to have the mayor, you're going to have the district attorney, you're going to have everybody doing press conferences saying, we're going to hold the people who did this fully accountable. But when police officers do something to the public, to citizens, we don't hear none of that. We don't hear, and that's why we continue to have these problems, because people don't believe that we playing on the level playing field. And that's why people don't have trust in police officers. But it's going to take the good police officers. It's going to take them having the courage to come forward. And when they know that something is done wrong, or if they know they're not getting proper training, if they know the policies are bad, they're going to have to come forward. And they're going to have to call it out, because they took an oath to serve and protect. And part of serving and protecting that is, if you see police officers doing wrong, then you have an obligation to also come forward and tell the public that they're doing wrong. So until that happens, I don't know how soon it's going to be before we get any meaningful change.
Attorney Washington, you have several questions, but just as the only one that you would need to answer. Ma'am, you wanted to ask the Attorney Washington something? Best attorney in the world?
Yes, Attorney Washington.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I got a question that I need to ask you. On yesterday morning, one of my friends had called, she had called 911 because she had a disturbance at her home. Okay? So the officers that came in, one of them said that, and thank God for the cameras that she had on her house. She said, I want him removed. And he said, well, we can't remove him. And he got cocky and stuff. And he said, he could kick the effing door down, and we wouldn't be able to put him in jail.
Is that Lafayette PD?
Amen.
What department, Sister Khadijah?
City.
Lafayette PD?
Yeah, Lafayette PD.
Okay.
And your question to Mr. Washington would be, the officer said that he could kick the effing door down. It wouldn't matter. He could do that? Is that what the question?
Yes. Okay, she said he could do that because he's been a resident. He has the right to do that. So she asked him, if he kicked the door down, do he have a right to kill me too?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, ma'am. If he kicked the door down, do he have the right to kill her also? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
First of all, that officer is acting improper, because officers are supposed to be trained to act courteous. They also supposed to be trained to de-escalate situations.
That's not here.
And what we see is they escalate situations all the time. I heard the caller say something. Luckily, they had some type of, I think, camera or whatever.
Yes.
Yes. Sadly, it's getting to this, but I would recommend everybody, especially in Lafayette, if you can go out there and get some type of doorbell system that has cameras and all that, please get it. I mean, those are not very expensive, but it gives you a sense of protection, because that's what happened in the Christoph case. Jeremy had his own video. So we were able to see exactly what happened, because we know if he didn't have the video, they were going to change the narrative. they were going to make it very different. So people need to go ahead and get cameras because these officers are doing these type of things. They have total disrespect for citizens. And, you know, if there was no video of that situation that the caller just described, they would have had the narrative just the way they wanted. And give you an example with the massive case, the young lady who got killed when she said, "I rebuke you."
Yes.
I guarantee you 2,000%. If there was no video, that officer would have gotten away with it.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, indeed.
2,000%.
That tall bodybuilding officer with afraid. Yeah.
Petite lady.
Yeah, a petite lady. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Well, sir.
Yes.
What else you want us to know about the case? You want the courtroom to be full when you're coming down for trial?
Yeah, I just want people to continue to demand answers.
Yes.
We can't get excited about a case for 1 or 2 weeks and then go away. We have to start seeing these things to the very end. And again, these type of cases, because of Chris Jeremy and his family, this was one of the best in Lafayette. When I talk to people about them, all I hear are great things about them.
Yes,
all right? They could have easily been hashtags.
Right.
So when we see situations like this, we have to understand that this is getting closer and closer to our homes. And we have to continue to fight. Because, Brother Jay, I say this all the time. We all want a job, right?
Right.
What I do, I honestly wish I can say one day that I'm unemployed because I no longer have to fight for civil rights issues because our community is not really dealing with this anymore. I wish I can I wish I can truly say that, Brother Jay and Sister Khadijah, but it's getting worse.
Yes.
It's getting worse. And I'm going to tell you something. This presidential election that's coming up, people better not stay home. All right? People better not believe that it's over because there are going to be a lot of shenanigans. And I will tell you, they have already told us about Project 25. So people, 2025, it's not going to be a surprise. They have already told us. So I will say this: when Landry got into office, he got into office because people didn't go out and vote.
That's right.
All right. He got into office because we weren't talking about the election the way we're talking about this election right now. So let me tell you something. If by chance Trump lose, which I hope he does, right? Landry is going to become even worse. All right. All these governors who support Trump, they're going to start implementing the things he wants on the local level.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
Especially voting laws, they're already doing it.
They're already doing it. So the thing about the president election, Brother Jay, is that if Donald Trump is elected, right, he has potentially at a minimum of 2 more picks to the Supreme Court. All right. He also gets to nominate these federal judges. These are the people who deal with they deal with federal laws, the Constitution, and the things that impact our lives. All right. Trump told you when he was running, he was going to have Roe versus Wade overturned.
Yes.
All right. We didn't believe that. He said it. He didn't make it any secret. So if they did that, imagine. We already see what's going on with the DEI. All right. We know that they want to get rid of affirmative action. They want to get rid of all that. The reason is Brother Jay, listen, white men understand that there are years from now, they no longer will be the majority, right?
Yes.
So they won't have that power that they've always had, right? So what do you do when you know that that's coming up? You want to change the laws. So you want to put laws in place that are going to protect you, even if you're not in power.
Right.
So those are things that we have to look at, and those are things that we have to consider. And Brother Jay and Sister Khadijah, look, you guys can keep me up here all day. But look.
But look, I know you got to go. But look, let me tell you this. When they done the election, Landry got in so good because of all these, Grambling had homecoming, Southern had homecoming. That for election day, that was pre-planned.
That's
Absolutely.
what they do. That's what they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have to do better. You know, when we know these things, it wouldn't have hurt either one of us to change our homecomings
Yes.
and say, you know what, we have to make sure that people are at the polls because this election is too very important. We just not we should not let somebody like Landry ever lead the state of Louisiana. Never.
Definitely.
God, oh.
Never.
Yes, indeed.
So-
Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, thank you. We really
And when
appreciate
you
it.
come back down here, please let us know because we want to welcome you again for the outstanding work that you're doing, sir.
Yes, sir.
Attorney Washington.
No, I really appreciate it. I love the show. I love the things, Sister Khadijah, that you and Brother Jay are doing. I mean, you guys use your platform to make a difference. And I truly commend you guys. I mean, some people have the platform and they're using their platforms to promote garbage.
Yes.
You guys are using your platform to change this world. You're using your platform to change Louisiana. And I mean, I truly appreciate you guys just giving me the opportunity to come on your show and talk about these very important issues.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, good brother, Attorney Darrell K. Washington.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
And not only that, Brother Jay, but right now people need to actually know where they're voting at because they done changed the voting precinct from one area to another area. And when you go over there to vote, when you go over there to get to vote, oh, well, you don't vote here. And a lot of times people are going there like the polls close at 8 o'clock. They may have gotten off of work at 5 or 6 and they're hurrying up to try to go in and vote, get to the polls. Oh, you don't vote here no more. Well, what? Well, something was sent to you in the mail. I didn't receive it. You know, and that done happened too many times to different people. So please start finding out right now where you are voting at. What will be your precinct? You need to know that, and you need to know what you need to have to go to vote. If you don't, you need to have a Louisiana identification. If you don't have your Louisiana identification, all you have to do is just fill out a simple affidavit. And all the affidavit asks you for is your mother's maiden name, address, and they're able to find you from your mother's maiden name. So that, too, in itself is very important. Caller, you're on. You have a question or a comment. You're on. Caller, you're on.
Get ready. 2014, November the 5th. It will be the biggest of the waves you ever seen. They're going to hit. If you figure it out, you're right. If you can't figure it out, well, the blue wave will hit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, caller.